Here is the new and improved version of the stationary disc sander based on the one that I made 13 years ago, which in turn was based on the one that my dad built for me probably 10 years earlier. The idea was to make it stronger and more powerful than the previous versions and easier to move around the shop. So it's made of birch hardwood and birch plywood. The table slides back so that the sanding disc can be removed, and then it slides forward, snugs up to the sanding disc, and then is tightened in place by tightening this knob. There's a vacuum hose, a vacuum connected by that hose to a collector that's down here. The hose plugs into that port, and then there's a collector made out of pieces of foam board held together with hot melt glue. Don't have my script down very well here, so I'm hesitant. The motor assembly tilts in this carriage because the disc is tapered. When it's at the proper tilt, a line along a radius of the disc is at 90 degrees to the table and forms a jointer. The adjustment is made down here with this screw mechanism that threads into a length of threaded rod. The vacuum and the motor are controlled out of focus here. Come back, here we are. The vacuum and the motor are controlled by the same switch, so that when you switch on the sander, it also switches on the vacuum cleaner. To move the sander around the shop, pull out this handle, lift up this end of the sander, and move it along on the large wheels. It's easy to move around the shop, much easier than the earlier version. This is the fence. Make a rough adjustment and lock it in place. There's the rough adjustment. And you make a fine adjustment by turning this knob, and that moves the fence closer or further away from the sanding disc. Then the fence itself locks down with these knobs at each end. I'll just turn it on now. Within a few months after making the first one, I realized I didn't like the way it looked or worked, and I wanted to rebuild it, and it took me all these years to get up the gumption to build the second version. And here it is, finally.